Futureproof is sponsored by Carrot Events, showcasing your company values with high-impact, bespoke events. Hello and welcome back to Futureproof. Thank you very much for joining me again, Sarah Hopwooders. In this Shoreham studio I have three lovely ladies who I hope, if you've been following the series, you've enjoyed the discussions that we've had, because they've been quite diverse, from hats to accountancy, to now talking to Pfizer about her eco-friendly and the exhibition. We're going to be hearing more about that now. She was talking about it in the first half and talking about pods and how building restrictions might restrict you getting, planning permission for something, but actually now there are eco-friendly pods that can go up. Pfizer, have I said that right? That's what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean the United Kingdom, or the British government has a remit at the moment to try and build as many homes as possible. Every council within every district in the UK. The problem is funding. As you know, money is short in everywhere. So how do we do that? So there are two different options. One is modular homes. These come ready-made and they're blocked. We in Britain are not so far into it as we should be. People like countries like Sweden and Finland and Norway and the United States are very much forward with that. We have got to get at that. Our land, we have a lot of land in the UK that's not used. Unfortunately, where people want to live, the areas they want to live, land is sparse. So how do we build in those places? How can we build very fast? Modular homes you can build 12 homes, modular homes, within 8 weeks. The normal building system can take a year and a half to 2 years. So here is a way of you getting, plus they're less expensive that way. So that's the one area.
And you had some thoughts yourselves, didn't you, Alison, yourself?
Well, the next generation is really important. I mean, not suggesting it's not important to us, but I know the next generation are really thinking about it. I have a daughter who's 23, and she's saying a lot of her generation are thinking about not having children, because at the moment
exactly the same
they don't want to bring children into this world, and I think that's quite shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I haven't heard that. That's new to me.
It's a lot.
I asked my sons, it suddenly struck me, and they said, it is something that we should.
Yeah, Becky's saying they're talking about it in their generation, and at the moment they don't want to be increasing the population because of what's happening on the planet, which is extraordinary. But the other thing I wanted to mention was Jonah and I were listening to the same radio programme on the way here, and it was an Australian senator, wasn't it, who was talking about a little valley in Australia which they'd had to protect from the fires because it's a unique valley with some trees that he tried to tell us they were over 1 million years old, didn't he? But obviously got that slightly wrong. But they were around where the dinosaurs were around.
So this species hasn't changed for millions of years.
So they'd had to bring in all these special fire crew, they'd had to protect it. Apparently it's in a secret valley, but he's a little bit worried now that it'll be the only green space.
We'll see where it is.
Absolutely right. But I mean, it is really a hot issue.
I think this is where, for instance, the Expo, the conference on the Friday, and the Expo itself, which is a word for exhibition actually, it will be plastic free. We won't allow any plastic in there at all. So any exhibitors selling product or anything, they're not allowed to have anything plastic whatsoever. But we will help with that in the sense that we will give them paper bags. We will do that.
But I was networking the other day and I met somebody who knew a 25-year-old who has designed, patented, and apparently spoken around, I don't know, the UN or something, I can't remember, big conference. She has designed a biodegradable plastic that will last, I don't know, certain months or something, and then it will go away, and it's as strong as anything. And so I'm looking, I said I ought to get her on the programme.
You definitely should.
The problem is it's just a little bit like pharmaceuticals. When the pharmaceuticals who produce drugs, they can produce a lot of those drugs very, very cheaply. The problem is they have monopolies in that. People who produce plastic products have a monopoly in that. if we decide we're not going to be used plastics and we're going to try and get rid of them, then the companies that actually produce those plastics then think, oh, what do we do next?
Yes.
Then they should change. As accountancy
consumer
has
power,
evolved,
yeah.
as our business every time we evolve, as your business and millinery and
But
so
we
on
had
must
it years
evolve.
ago with the tobacco industry. We had exactly the same problem. So I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but I do in a way, because I actually can't contribute much to the conversation at the moment, shamefully, so you can ask me. But whoever wants to speak first, what are you doing at the moment in your own lives to help, protect the planet with your eco-consciousness? Are you...
Well, I am thinking about it, to be honest, especially my daughter just went to Australia, and obviously all this issue with the fires and the, bless them, these koala bears and all those other animals.
Yeah.
I mean, we're thinking about whether or not we should put some satellite, solar panels on the side of the house. And I'm definitely trying, I mean, we grow our own vegetables, I'm trying to be greener. And at work, for example, we make sure everybody prints stuff double-sided, and we are now paper-free, so we don't print everything out, and so we are trying to think of the environment, and that's sort of some
Well, I
things
mean,
we're
the
doing.
other thing is there are products that you can buy. There's recyclable paper, so that is it doesn't give you the print quality that you get from pristine brand new paper, but it's usable and it's perfectly all right. And I agree with Alison. We have to, we're a virtually print-free office. Sometimes I have to print things for events and that sort of thing, but we try to be as much as possible. The problem, the issue is that I try to at home in my personal space, I divide my into different my refuge into different areas, and then it goes outside and so on, and then I hear that other people in my block don't do it, and so it's you're
true.
kind of hitting your head on a brick wall.
But also, there is some bad fake press out there that says all the recycling is chucked into the same thing anyway, and all these things that apparently are absolutely not true, that make people or give them permission to be lazy. What about you, Joanna? What are you doing?
Well, it's interesting actually, because I think I've been because I teach at University of Brighton, and that University of Brighton, we're one of the
Say more about what you teach there, because I think it'd be really good.
Business studies and professional practice to creatives. So I'm based in the School of Art, Grand Parade.
Yeah.
But University of Brighton is one of the greenest universities in the country
It's
now.
true.
Wow.
And so that is something that I've had witnessed over the years that I've taught there. So I think it's been more in my consciousness. But I think this last year, the weirdest thing that's happened to me is I've almost stopped eating meat. Which I am astounded by. I mean, this is something that one of my sons suggested. He's much more experimental in his cooking than I am, and we've actually, it happened really quickly. I thought it would be a like pulling teeth, but it's been
experimenting
fantastic.
with food now, aren't they, for animals, to make them not happy as windy as they are, because it's the wind, isn't it?
Yes, it's the methane.
It's the
methane.
environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's
also
it's
depends-
amazing what works if you try.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It also
Have a go
depends
and
where
see
you're
what-
getting the meat from and where you're getting it and how they're fed. This is the other thing, which is kind of thing,
I think what it's going to do, looking in a positive way, I think it's going to make us appreciate things in the way that maybe our parents or our grandparents' generation did. We didn't have as much stuff, so therefore what we had
Eating
was
vegetables in
valued.
season, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rather
really
than
taking
importing it.
care of how you cook. If you do have meat, then good meat. Occasionally, it's a treat, so I think, I just want to put a really quick plug in once more for Brighton. I've had the pleasure of working with 3D design and craft students of Brighton. They are the most thoughtful, innovative students. They really understand what's going on. They are the future. They are full of ideas. They're problem solvers. They're fantastic. Anyone who just says that the arts is just not useful,
But also
they
anybody,
need to meet those students.
and also the other thing, from the generation Y to X and the rest of it, we really have to apologise actually on some platforms, but be very, very mindful that the students that I know and come in line with are very good workers. They're very conscientious. Yes, there are gaps. We have heard education says there are gaps, and A-star students don't have the same kudos that they used to, because some are coming out
Not as
without.
resilient.
No, they're not as resilient and what have you. So we do know that, but we have to be very, very careful. And I hope any conversations that I've had on the programme before, when we've tried to be objective and what have you, no one is saying that the up and coming generation is useless or not able to do this, that and the other at all. Their creative thinking there and their resilience is getting stronger, and I think it's because they're stamping their feet. And who's that activist, the young girl, you know, Greta, who's coming out there, and I think it's firing them all up, and they're just going, yeah, absolutely. So we do have faith in
it's
you.
our future, it's our land, it's what they want. So we have to help them to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much. I don't know whether we'll do another one or not, but I have to say it's been an absolute pleasure. Alison, Joanna and Pfizer,
thank you, Sarah.
absolutely superb. Thank you so much, and we hope that you continue to watch the programme. If you feel that you can come and add a very constructed debate here and add some value to some viewers, then do call me, Sarah at sarahhotwood.com. But have a great week and see you soon. Take care.